It's okay to have different numbers and just know that you have a range. You have a range. You don't need
That
to
range
have a
is so important.
specific calorie deficit numbers. Like, well, everyone says something different, but that's okay.
I've got 1,500 and I can't go over. Or what if I'm under? Like, dude,
right. It's like,
give
you
yourself a
guys
range.
give yourself a fucking range. You have a higher range until you hit maintenance, right? A couple hundred calories under your maintenance is always a great place to start. And then the lower you get, the harder it is to stick to. And that's the point.
Right. And that's why, like, starting out with this goal body weight method, we would recommend on the higher end of the numbers.
Yes, because if you
Start
look up where you should be for your height and all that shit and your age, it's going to give you also a range. Don't pick the lower number. You guys always go to the lower number and then tell me it's too restrictive.
Lower is not better.
What the fuck did you choose? That's the problem. Oh my God, it gave me this many calories. Well, what did you choose? Losing 2 pounds a week? Of course it's going to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
common sense here.
Stop causing your own distress. Stop going to the lowest fucking number you see. Okay, that's not the point of this.
Welcome to Cut the Crap with Beth and Matt, the world's #1 no bullshit health and fitness podcast.
Are you ready to cut the crap with your diet and exercise, get strong as fuck, and build a healthy relationship with food? Then you've come to the right place.
Let's go. If you'd like to support us in the podcast, join our Patreon where you get exclusive content, which consists of monthly workouts you can do at home or at the gym, monthly challenges that are either strength, habit, or mindset based, and access to over 100 plus low-calorie, high-protein, family-friendly meals. These are all designed by a professional chef who is certified in nutrition. These recipes are already in MyFitnessPal for easy fucking tracking. New recipes are also added each week.
We believe that fitness is for everyone, so this is our way of getting you started on your health and fitness journey at a price most everyone can afford. So what the fuck are you waiting for? We'll see you in the Patreon.
Let's do it.
Nerdle, what the fuck is up?
What's up, Nerdle? How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Fucking cold.
Cold.
I'm good. I'm cold-blooded right now. No, it's cold here in Maine. It's
Really?
getting cold. Yeah. Well, tomorrow's supposed to be the warmest day we've had in a while in the 70s, but it's rainy and cold today. So
got it.
Halloween.
You're kind of just getting the weather that we just kind of had then, because we had a real cold day. It was like 32 degrees the other morning on my run. Like Sunday morning, I went on a long run, 32 degrees.
I'm not ready, Matt.
No, I'm not either. And then the next day was like 80 degrees. It's like this weather is messing everybody up too.
I know.
Yeah,
I want to hibernate when it's like this. I hate that.
Yeah,
I don't, but I want to.
I saw you got a message on your anonymous Q&A. Like, what? I know you hate Maine, and I was like, what is Beth ever giving the?
I don't understand why people seem to like make assumptions.
They see one little thing and they just make an absolute statement, right?
I may be like, oh, winter sucks in Maine. They're like, oh my God, she hates Maine. How could she hate Maine? It's like, no, I hate fucking being cold. I think most people do. I don't know.
Overgeneralizing.
You know what I'm saying? But I love Maine. Maine is amazing, but I don't like living here in the winter. It's depressing. It's cold. There's not much to do when there's no snow, right? Like if we had a ton of snow, it'd be a different story. But the past 4 years, it's been rainy. We haven't been able to use the local ski mountain because it'll rain and it becomes ice. So
the toboggan shoot.
Yeah.
The toboggan race.
Right. If you live in Maine, you want to do outdoor things because you don't have access to much other than doing outdoor stuff. So,
so if the weather is like just dreary and rainy instead of like
cold as fuck. There's really not much to do.
And you guys have the long extended winters too for six months long and things like that.
Yeah. So no, I don't hate Maine.
Yeah, cognitive distortions. We've all got them.
Yeah, never think just so you know, guys, your perception of someone and the actual reality could be totally polar opposites.
Absolutely.
You know,
yeah,
like, I don't show my entire life on social media. You guys get glimpses of it.
Yeah,
but you don't.
We need privacy to ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we believe in authenticity and sharing a lot of this stuff, but like it is exhausting. So you need to have some stuff that's just for you, just for your family and things like that.
Yeah, people are very judgy McJudgersons. I will never talk about politics on social media. Never, absolutely never. You will never know who I vote for because it's none of your fucking business. And I've gotten that asked to me too. It's like, you know what? I choose not not, because
Right.
people are very polarizing. No matter what you choose,
Yes.
someone's going to fucking hate you for it. So I will choose to do what I want and I don't have to fucking tell anybody about it. It's no one's fucking business. I'm a health and wellness coach. Absolutely fucking hate politics. It is not in my DNA to get involved in politics.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. I hear
I'll
you.
never talk about it. It's just, it's,
Yeah. Well,
So, no,
I did, and I generally agree with you. And I tried to stay away from political stuff. And when the Olympics were going on, I kind of got involved in a way because I was really upset with what I was seeing, right? And so I did make a couple of posts on social media about it, and that was very polarizing, right? And so people were very upset with me about that. So I totally get that, and I'm like, I'm never going to do this again. Like,
it's just not worth my mental health.
It's not worth the mental health.
I don't need to fight over the fucking internet with people about this shit. I just don't.
Yes.
I don't have the fucking mental capacity for it.
And that's something me and my dad used to fight about a lot too, is politics and religion.
Oh, really?
Stuff, right? So now that we don't, we've kind of come to an understanding, like, hey, your thoughts and views are yours and mine are mine. We're not like whatever.
Yeah.
Now that allows us to be happy and healthy now. And like, there was actually been research showing that the more involved with politics you are, the more you discuss politics, the unhappier you are. There's a direct correlation there with that. And that doesn't matter which side you're on, right? It's just the politics in general, especially when you start identifying like as that type of stuff. So that's whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So,
crazy.
Yeah. Cray. Keep me out of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep me out of the cray.
Cool. So how are you doing with like your fitness right now? What are you up to?
I'm fucking doing awesome. I'm crushing my workouts 4 days a week with Kelly. Got some aesthetic goals. So we're just in maintenance right now. We're lifting fucking heavy shit. She's doing a new program for me coming up in the next couple of days. I've been in she calls it a deload, but I don't think that this is much of a deload.
You're deloaded right now too, huh? Nice.
Yeah. So that's exciting.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm deloading right now for
Are you?
For running. I'm pushing strength really heavy right now, but I'm deloading on running right now.
Mm-hmm.
This week.
Winter is a good time to make some gains.
Yeah.
So that's the plan. We have me and Kelly's coaching a lot of the coaches on my team. We all have a plan to do a photo shoot in the end of the summer of 2025 for our retreat.
Okay.
So we're all like building right now, and we're going to do Shreddy McShredderson this summer for our photo shoot. So we all have goals. It's pretty fun.
That's cool. Yeah. So, and that's a long process, right? You're already looking. That's almost a 12-month long process right there. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's
cool. I want to see where I can take I really want to see where I can take my body. You know what I mean? Because I've never done, like I said, I've never had a coach specifically for strength training and building muscle and all that. I've always I've done group programming that was for anybody, not specifically for me. So this is cool.
Yeah. That's a game changer, right? Going from the generalized and
I really
the generalized
believe so.
Programming is great, right? You can get so great results with that. And that's what we do with a lot of our clients and a lot of our different programs is
absolutely
more group formatting. But then at some points then too, you're going to want more, and you're going to want that. Okay, what can I do? Like, what am I capable of? And things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Those group programs, I believe anybody can and should do them. Like I've done them up until recently and had, like you said, I've had great results, but I'm ready to step it up.
For sure.
Just because I'm in the fitness world and fucking, I love this shit. So bring it.
Speaking of group stuff, let's talk about our own kind of stuff we have on our team to offer in group stuff, because I know we both have some stuff, and why the fuck now? We don't talk about our own stuff very often, right? So let's talk about that for a few minutes before we get into the topics that we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
So we both have some different, I think, group containers, right? We coach separately. So how can you help people in a group format, Beth, with your team?
So we have one-on-one coaching for individualized, like what we were talking about. Like I have an individualized, like Coach Kelly on my team is coaching me. So we do individualized coaching, but also this is not really open to the public yet, I guess.
Coming down the top.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on this for a while. It's basically our group coaching that we've had a couple years ago, but we're revamping it. We're going to be offering like beginner strength training program. It's like basically everything you need in one, I'm going to say portal, but it's a one-stop shop. You'll have everything nutrition, everything beginner strength training, intermediate, advanced, and then you have coaching calls you can come to, our support calls. You have all the nutritional guidance, webinars, you name it, you'll have access to it. So that's something that we're going to be fully launching in the new year. But you can technically get in now. Like if someone feels that maybe they need less than one-on-one coaching when they book a call, they'll go to, because it's self-guided.
Gotcha.
So if you already know,
a self-guided thing. Okay. With access to these other avenues then as well.
With access to which Coach Kelly will be programming all the workouts in there. So we'll have forever her beginner strength, start here. Like if you've never touched a workout or a dumbbell in your life, start here. And then Coach Kelly will be programming month to month in our EverFit app. So that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's great. Obviously, we have very similar models too, and we have a lot of the same offerings there. So we do one-on-one coaching. We are putting more of an emphasis. We've always been primarily focused on one-on-one coaching, but this past year I've been wanting to change it to more of the group format. So we still do one-on-one coaching, but we have shifted over towards more of a group format. So we have like our Fit Fat Strong, right? We launched that almost 6 months ago now. We have something cool coming up for our 6-month anniversary of launching the Fit Fat Strong program, which is our strength training only program with monthly workouts by Coach Liz. And we do 2 office hours calls for that as well.
Nice. Kind of familiar, kind of similar, I would say, huh?
Similar. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah, it is pretty similar. It's beginner workouts. You can do them at home or at the gym. And we have the client portal as well with materials and our coaching resources. One thing that we are doing, which is going to be actually on November 1st, we're going live with is our new version of our Fit Fat Strong. We're doing Fit Fat Strong running program.
Oh, that's cool. I saw you talking about that. How fun is that?
So me and Liz are doing, mostly Liz is doing the running programming. She's been running for 20 years, been coaching people for a while on that. So we're doing like our own version of a Couch to 5K program. Like you've never run before, because that's what I've noticed a lot of our audience is.
Where do I start? What do I do?
Where do I start? I'm too old to run and things like that. So just like you're doing with the strength training thing is like what we're doing with Fit Fat Strong, the running version.
Love it. Yeah.
Is like, here's where you start. Let's break down the misconceptions and literally going to take people from walking to running within a few months.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So we're fucking pumped for that.
How fun is that? Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions about where do I start with strength training? I've never done it before. And it's like, okay, how do I break that down in a story? You know what I'm saying? So
for sure.
Hunter found some, let's say like 2021, we made these like beginner workout programs as free gifts. And of course they've been sitting in the computer and he's like, oh my God, we have these. These would be perfect for you to give to your followers.
I saw you post those on your story today.
So yesterday we were talking about like, I really need to have something to give to these people, especially like the Patreon's great, but if you've never touched a dumbbell or a band,
there's not a lot of guidance with the Patreon.
You know what I'm saying? Like you need the basic, like here you go, start here, do this, and then you could progress, right? As you get better.
Yeah.
So we have these and it's like, oh, you can give these out. So I just started doing that. And then Coach Kelly will really have like a straight up beginner, here's how you start. In our project, Inner Peace is what we're calling it.
Inner Peace. Sweet.
Yeah. Because that's ultimately what we want, right? Inner peace.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what it's all about with food, and really, I think what we're accomplishing, your team and my team, is finding that inner peace with our bodies, right? Like and finding the love that we can have for ourselves and the confidence we can build in ourselves by focusing on building strength and falling in love with that process.
Right.
Not even just the strength, right? Running, helping people really fall in love with running, right?
Yeah.
As is the case for both of us. I started off hating running and now it's like I like every fiber of my being is all about running right now. So
right.
So yeah. Fuck yeah. Very cool.
Hells yeah.
I'm going to be getting some new UFOs.
Oh, you've been talking about those. So those, okay. Yep.
Yeah. So shout out to them. They're sending me some recovery sandals. I'm really looking forward to those.
Nice.
Because I've been talking about them on social media because I bought a pair of theirs after my half marathon, right, for recovery. And I love them. They're like an inch thick of it, and it's like just walking on clouds, right?
I was gonna say it's like walking on cotton balls.
Yeah, for sure. So they're awesome sliders. Not affiliated with them, but they're sending me sandals here. Pretty cool. So that's pretty cool. Who knows? Maybe we can get them to sponsor the podcast at one point, at some time. That'd be.
You never know.
Cool. So yeah.
Yeah.
People we enjoy working with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
What do we want to talk about today, Matt? We want to call this episode the Fat Loss Bible.
Fat Loss Bible? Is that what we want
this, this episode to be your one-stop shop to listen to if you want to get started on losing fat. One thing I'll start off by saying is that fat loss is within itself simple as fuck. right? It's so simple, right? But it is not easy.
Right.
Two different,
those two wrong.
You got to get that separate, right? The method within itself is easy, but fucking doing it and being consistent with it, that's the hard part. Yeah. So if you're looking to lose fat, what the fuck do you do first? Step number one, Matt.
Move more.
Yeah, right.
Terrible advice. Okay.
That's terrible.
Okay.
So step one would first not to feel like you have to overhaul your entire fucking existence. Okay. Yes. So let's clear your mind. Don't be nervous, but write these things down. Listen to this episode again, because you may not do everything in order. Okay. Because what's important is you just fucking start.
You just start doing something. Choose
something we talk about and fucking start doing it. Okay. Yes. Stop looking and searching and trying to find something perfect, because it's nothing is perfect.
Perfection does not exist.
It doesn't exist. You just need to fucking take action. Okay. So Matt.
Yes.
How do you figure out your calorie deficit? Because there's 8 million different fucking ways to figure it out. What is the easiest way for someone just to figure out an estimated number?
Goal body weight, right? There's a simple calculation we can do. So there's a range with goal body weight, right?
Yep.
And when we talk about goal body weight, let's start by setting realistic expectations for the goal body weight.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Because this doesn't mean.
So how would I find my goal body weight, Matt?
Trial and error, right?
But
what would you recommend? Because you might have an ultimate goal.
I do think it's important to look on the internet for like what you should be for your height, right? Like, it's just a range. It really doesn't mean it's like a set in stone number, but really just look at that and don't necessarily pick that number, but have it in your mind. And then what is a number that you remember that you feel you're best at, that you weren't fucking 17 years old? Maybe it's right before you had a child. You're feeling good, whatever. I think it's important just to choose a number to start with, because it may not be the number that you end up with, right? Yes. Just make sure that it's a goal weight that is sustainably, like, not crazy fucking low.
And I love that you said a goal weight or physique that you felt good at, not necessarily that you looked your best at, because those aren't necessarily the same things either, right?
Exactly.
Because that's one thing people get wrong is I just want to look like I did when I was 18. I want to look like I did when I was in college, right? Okay, well, that was 4 kids ago, 30 years ago, 10 diets ago, a lifetime of not strength training ago, right?
Yeah.
You need to be realistic. So, and also you felt like shit back then because you were probably partying or you were restricting to get there, and life was a lot easier too, right? So, so you need to be realistic with that. So I guess goal weight, right? So let's say somebody right now is 250 pounds. Right. I wouldn't recommend if they want to get down to 150. I wouldn't say go straight from 250 to 150 with the goal weight. Right. We would break that up into smaller chunks.
Yeah.
So something like 200 pounds, right, would be probably a better way to start by doing that. And then we can give them a range.
Yeah.
Goal body weight.
Goal body weight. You can do between 10 and 12. So your goal body weight times 10, which would be obviously more restrictive. So it's good to have
an aggressive one.
It's good to have a range, like, so goal weight times 10 to 12. And what the numbers mean is it's 10 calories per gram of lean body mass. So that's really essentially what that means.
That's where that goal body weight is trying to accommodate.
Yeah, because we're like, well, where do you get the 12 from? That's 12 calories per gram of lean body mass. And so when people are like, well, can short people do that? Yes, because you're going by body weight.
Right. You're not going off of.
You're not going by height and shit. Okay.
Right.
So what you can do is you can also compare the goal body weight times 10 to 12 to the TDEE, which we do for clients. And it kind of like meet yourself in the middle with that. Like, I think it's important just to see, like, it's okay to have different numbers and just know that you have a range. You have a range. You don't need
that range is so important.
Calorie deficit numbers, like, well, everyone says something different, but that's okay.
I've got 1,500 and I can't go over. Or what if I'm under? Like, dude,
right? It's like, you guys give yourself a fucking range. You have a higher range until you hit maintenance, right? A couple hundred calories under your maintenance is always a great place to start. And then the lower you get, the harder it is to stick to. And that's the point.
Right. And that's why, like, starting out with this goal body weight method, we would recommend on the higher end of the numbers.
Yes, because if you look up where you should be for your height and all that shit and your age, it's going to give you also a range. Don't pick the lower number. You guys always go to the lower number and then tell me it's too restrictive.
Lower is not better.
What the fuck did you choose? That's the problem. oh my God, it gave me this many calories. Well, what did you choose? Losing 2 pounds a week? Of course it's going to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
common sense here.
Stop causing your own distress. Stop going to the lowest fucking number you see. Okay. Yeah. That's not the point of this.
That is not. The point is sustainable.
Right.
So better is better. Smarter is better. Lower is not better when it comes to fat loss most of the time in terms of calories. More is usually generally better.
It's about eating the most you can while still losing fat, because when you try to eat the least amount possible, you can't stick to it. And then you're like pissed off because it's so restrictive and you can't be consistent. Well, yeah, because you're choosing the lowest amount of calories you could possibly choose.
Right. And the nice thing about doing that range too is once you really get dialed into your a more specific number to you, and that's going to take a little bit of trial and error after we establish this kind of the goal body weight or in the range. But even on the higher end of the range, let's say you're plus or minus 150 calories or something. So if your goal is 1,500 calories, you can go up to 1,650 or down to 1,350. Even at 1,650, in theory, that's probably going to still be a deficit for you. It's just going to be closer to maintenance or right at maintenance. So that's the good news. Is like even if you went on the high end of the range, you still didn't fuck anything up, right? And that's what people, that's why we do that range, so that when people see they go over that 1,500 calories, they don't flip the fuck out, because it's rewiring your brain to get away from that dieting mentality.
Right. So since we're talking about how to figure out your calorie deficit number, I'll talk about what to do from there. And then maybe, Matt, if you want to talk about what if you don't want to find your deficit number and you want to lose fat without tracking calories.
I love that. Yeah.
So we can give you guys, because I know a lot of people can't track calories, and that's okay. Like if you had a past eating disorder, you're super obsessive compulsive. If you've never done it before, I would say try it for at least 30 days so you can become more aware, because awareness is key and it all starts there, and you cannot change what you're not aware of.
I agree. So, most people should track for some extended time at some point in their life, as long as they don't have any eating disorders, stuff to deal with, right?
Right.
Healthy relationship.
Yeah.
I agree with that 100%.
So I'll just say that you can download an app like Lose It, MyFitnessPal. Do not go by the calories they give you. That's why we're telling you how to figure it out, because once again, they will ask you, how much do you want to lose per week? And you'll tell them 2 pounds, and they'll say 1,200 calories a day, Beth. And you're like, well, that's too fucking little. Yeah, because you wanted to lose 2 pounds a week. All right. So don't go using the apps.
Use them for tracking only. Do not use them to establish your calorie deficit.
Exactly. And then you're going to input your own calories, and then you're going to start tracking from there. Unsync your watch, your Fitbit, whatever the fuck you have. Do not connect it to the apps, because it will add calories back from exercise. And you do not want to do that, because you're going to end up being in a surplus or a maintenance, because nutrition is the driver of fat loss. Okay. Exercise is the passenger. So remember that. We're not exercising for fat loss.
We're the back of the bus, dude. It's not even the best.
We're exercising to get strong as fuck, and because it's good for us, and because we need to move our fucking bodies. That's the point. All right. We are not supposed to be sedentary people.
Our bodies were not designed to be sedentary. That's why they feel like shit when we're sedentary.
All right. So do you want to talk about how to track calories without, or how to lose fat without tracking calories?
Yeah, for sure. So the more mindful eating approach. And I want to say too, even if we're tracking, right, these things still apply. Like let's be mindful trackers if we're going to try to track. That's what I want people to start doing, right?
Yeah.
Mindful tracking. So even without tracking though, it's possible. So we need to really start building a ton of awareness into our relationship with food and our habits. So it starts with slowing down when we're eating. So we need to start at least eating 1 meal a day mindfully. So that means we're sitting down, our feet are in our seat, right? We don't have our cell phones. We don't have our laptop open. We're not responding to emails. We're not doing anything other than sitting there with our food. Might feel awkward at first. So eat 1 meal a day like that. That is going to force you to slow down.
Yep.
When we slow down, it allows our body to recognize the hunger and fullness cues that our body's sending. And when you're doing that also, before you eat, kind of check in with yourself, right? The hunger scale. Check in with yourself. How hungry am I right now? What am I hungry for? Why am I hungry? Is this physical hunger? Is this emotional hunger? Things like that. So put a number to it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I am a 2. I'm fucking ravenous. You don't want to get to a 2, right? If you're at a 2, you should have eaten an hour ago type thing, right? So be aware of your hunger by checking in with your hunger, and then checking in again after and during your meal on your fullness sensations as well. So on the opposite end of the 1 to 10, with fullness, you're going to say, okay, right now I'm a 5 out of 10, and that means I'm satisfied, right? And then you'll start learning where maybe like a 6 or 7 you feel really comfortable and you don't want any more, whereas like a 7 or an 8 might be pushing you too far. So get really comfortable with that kind of comfort scale in mindful eating. So that's where I would definitely recommend starting there, is having that one mindful meal a day, distraction free. And I get that it's not easy for everybody to do, especially all you parents out there. You're like, Matt, you're fucking crazy. Trust me, it's difficult at first. You've got to be really intentional with it, just like with anything that we're doing. Mindful eating, after all, is a skill. It's a habit, and that's what we're doing here. Just like with calorie tracking, it's a habit, it's a skill. Mindful eating is the same thing. So that's where I would recommend starting without tracking, just by the daily thing that you can do. From there, it's a lot of the same things that we talk about, right? It's prioritizing protein. It's prioritizing fruit and things like that. So,
so if you're not tracking, you could think about having a palm of protein at each meal if you're a woman, and two palms if you're a male.
Absolutely.
You can think about that way. And if you want to track your protein, you can take also your goal weight and same goal weight you used for your calories and multiply that by 0.7 to 1. And the 1, everyone gets confused. It's like, just take your weight. Let's say your goal weight's 150 times 1, and that's 150. That's all that means. Okay. So 0.7 to TO 1, not 2 as the number. I've done this so fucking long. I have to make sure that because I know the questions that I will already get. I know, like, is this for short people? Is this for exercise? It's for literally fucking anyone. Okay. You don't need to ask those questions. I'm just telling you right now, it's for anybody, whatever activity level you are. I suggest if you are not high activity, that maybe you go lower. And if you're high activity, go higher. So
exactly.
You really have to be logical, realistic. Okay. You guys want to start out doing things that are so fucking restrictive and not realistic for your life.
That's because a lot of times we start a fat loss journey because we're doing it out of emotion, right? We had a bad weekend. We checked in with ourselves. We weighed ourselves, and now we weigh too much. We feel bloated, and now we're wanting to lose fat because we're reactionary. We're emotional.
Yeah,
and that's going to lead you to do stupid things like crash diet and want to cleanse and go on a detox.
Stop thinking about current you and think about future you and where the fuck you want to be. Do you want to be doing this again for fucking years on end, or you want to do it right the first time or the 100th time?
Yes. This is one of those situations, right, where we're talking about, like with calories, how less is not better. Well, in this situation, slower is better. Longer is better. If we take the long way to get to the ultimate goal of fat loss, you're actually going to be saving yourself time, because doing it the short way, you are doing it for 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, crashing and burning, and you're spiraling for another 6 months. So you're just in this fucking cycle of short-term things, and you're just making it last longer.
Think long-term you, not short-term you. Your short-term you is desperate, and don't think about that person. Okay.
Yeah. That person doesn't fucking serve you. That person got
fuck you. Fuck the desperate you. Okay. Yeah. Get her the fuck away from yourself. All right. Because you're not, let's stop dieting out of desperation.
Didn't you say something like that in your post today, that like your current behaviors and stuff and habits are what got you into the situation right now?
Yeah. It's like, okay, well, one of the things that I talked about is like the truths about fat loss is that you need to handle the behaviors and the mindsets that got you to where you were in the first place for long-term sustainability. So if you know you're an emotional eater, you're a stress eater, you need to figure out a plan and change those behaviors as part of your plan.
Yes. This is where we talk about, this is what we mean when we talk about, like, it's fat loss is more than just the calories. It's more than just the food.
Yeah. Because if you stress eat and emotionally eat, how's that going to fucking help you during your fat loss phase if you don't know or have any tools for that?
Right. You want to lose fat, but if you're emotionally eating every night, if you're stress eating every night, those are two competing things.
Yeah.
Right. You're wanting your cake and eating it too in this situation, and that's not possible. When it comes
mental health needs to be looked at during this time.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You may need to get rid of some things that are taking you down. Like for me, it was alcohol. So I don't drink anymore. I knew that was like, what is something in your life that you know that you would be better without consistently doing? What is something that you know you need to change? binge eating, emotional eating, stress eating, you know that is the catalyst that is holding you back, you fucking work on that. Stop jumping around that, right? That's the hard shit you need.
You can't fix that with diets. You can't fix that by wanting to change your body.
The only way out is through. So deal with that shit too.
Yep. The only way through hell is through misery.
Yeah. That's the hard shit people don't.
It's going to suck in the meantime. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going to be worth it. You got to handle your shit. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to cry. You need to handle your fucking shit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Handle your shit. Cut the crap style.
That's right. Okay, so we talked about calories and protein. What else we got?
So I wanted to add one more thing on about the mindful meal. So there's this thing called a mindful plate. So we're very familiar with like a food pyramid, which by the way has not been used in over a decade. So don't come at us with the food pyramid. They stopped using that. Then they came up with like the My Plate or something, which is a better, more balanced approach to nutrition. Yeah. It makes sense. But with mindful eating, there's a mindful plate. So, and we'll put this in the show notes as a downloadable, for everybody. But this is introduced by Susan Albers. She's a psychologist, and I'm a huge advocate for mindful eating. Mm-hmm. So the mindful plate, there's 5 components to it. So what's really cool is the 5 components to it. Maybe you're used to seeing a plate in terms of nutrition, right? We talk about 25% should be protein, 50% should be veggies, and the other 25% should be carbs, when then a little side of fat, right? That's a little thumb of fat. Exactly. Yeah. I wish I could share this with you, Beth. Actually, I can share this with you. Let me share my screen with you, and then everybody can follow along by downloading this if they're not driving their phone.
Well, they can't see.
They can't see, but I'm just going to talk about this so you can see it with us. Yeah. Right. Okay. So the mindful plate, it's observe, in the moment, savor, non-judgment, and then aware. So those are the 5 components of a mindful plate, right? And this credits to this goes to Susan Albers. So the observe is notice your body, how you're eating, right? The other component is in the moment. So be fully present. Turn off the TV, sit down. When you eat, just eat. Third component of your mindful plate is savor, right? We want to savor our food. Notice the texture, aroma, and flavor. Is it crunchy, sweet, salty, smooth, spicy? Fourth component is non-judgment. We're going to speak mindfully and compassionately. I'm just eating food. Avoid the shoulds and all those typical rules when it comes to dieting. Then the fifth one, which is the little thumb full of fats that we're so used to, is aware, right? Tasting our food versus mindlessly munching our food, right? Throwing down handfuls of potato chips while we're watching TV is not mindful.
Not mindful at all.
So yeah,
no,
cool. So that's a really good foundation right there for everybody. Right? What else do we want to contribute here? We have
fiber.
Oh my gosh, fiber is so important. Why is fiber? Fiber is like it's not a macronutrient, but it's so damn important, right? We talk about macros in terms of how much protein, carbs, and fats you need. But what about fiber? It's fucking important.
Fiber helps our gut health.
Our gut health, our microbiome, everything. Influencers will tell you is killing your gut health and trying to sell you supplements for it. They're all just fiber supplements.
It helps move things.
Keeps things moving smoothly.
Yes, keeps the things moving smoothly. It helps lower your cholesterol. It's good for a lot of different things.
You attributed more fiber to you improving your cholesterol.
Oh yeah. That's the one thing I really did change was adding more fiber. I wasn't getting enough fiber before. Now I make sure. I was barely getting 20 grams of fiber a day before.
That's 93% of Americans aren't getting enough fiber.
Yeah. And you really have to be intentional with it because it's easy not to get enough fiber. It really is.
Okay.
So I have to make a point of it.
So women should be doing about 25 grams of fiber a day, right?
Yeah.
And men should be doing about 35 grams of fiber per day. Another way of looking at it is about 14 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories in your diet or so, I believe. So,
and there's tons of information on different fiber sources on the internet. You can just Google it, say fiber sources, and you can find infographics with hundreds of different fiber sources.
Well, we love fruit for this purpose, right?
So fruit, berries, avocados,
seeds,
oatmeal, beans, legumes.
There you go. I know we talk about peanut butter as not being a great source of protein, and it's not because it's a fat source, but there is decent amount of fiber in peanut butter as well. So that's kind of an underrated, I think, peanut butter fiber source is peanut butter. I eat one almost every day, right?
Matt loves his peanut butter, guys.
PB&J and a glass of milk.
Ever been on a hike with Matt? You know, to get a couple jars of peanut butter for his fucking homemade peanut butter and raspberry smashed jelly.
Oh, you know me so well, Nerdle.
I know. So funny. It's like the pre-workout of champions for Matt.
It really is. It really is. Pop one of those before a long run and I'm good to go, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just had one. I don't have any fresh berries right now, so I had jam.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it. It's so good. And I've been using the Hero bread, which is loaded in fiber.
Oh yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So we got
and also fiber. Fiber also, fiber also keeps you satisfied, right? So protein and fiber, when we're eating both of those things, that's like a 1-2 punch for keeping you satisfied, which is so fucking important when we're trying to lose fat.
Yes. So think about protein, fruits and veggies and all that shit, you know,
all that.
The highly nutrient dense, low calorie food that is low calorie vegetables and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now that we got the nutrition part down,
yeah,
we can move into essentially our NEAT.
Yes. Movement stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
NEAT. Because this is the second most important thing after what we just talked about.
Right. Because nutrition, right, is the driver. So we talked about the main focus here first. Next, we're going to talk about your accessories. And I would say the NEAT is probably number one when it comes to helping your fat loss along.
I agree.
And that would be
non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
Right. Which is anything besides your planned exercise when you go to the gym for a specific hour to do whatever you're doing. It's your movement throughout the day.
Right.
Like fidgeting, taking the garbage out.
Squirrels are good for that, right? Us people
doing
with
the dishes.
ADHD, we're always fidgeting. So
I'm on the treadmill or the walking pad right now because, you know, I have a lot of meetings today. So this is how I'm getting my overall daily movement, or else I would be sitting and that's doing nothing for me.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So NEAT is so important. In fact, it's the second most amount of calories that you're burning every single day after your baseline metabolism.
Yeah. BMR burns about 60%. Then I think the NEAT is about 20%. And then as you go down the line, guess what burns the least?
Exercise.
Your exercise.
Even less amount of calories burned from exercise than the fucking food you eat, guys. This is where so many people go wrong with fat loss is they start exercising the fat away. They start running. They start doing circuit classes and expect the fat to just melt away. But you're doing that for 30 or 45 minutes a few times.
I was going to say, that hour in the gym and you're sitting the rest of the time, you are not an active person. I would call that sedentary as fuck. I'm sorry. Seriously.
Yes. If that's all you're doing, that is not enough.
No, it's not.
That's why we talk about
overall health and metabolic health.
That's why we talk about to stop strength training and exercising for fat loss, because it's a really shit tool for it. It's a great tool for long-term fat loss, long-term fat loss maintenance and things like that. But there's the health benefits is what matters here.
Yeah.
So what we're doing outside of the gym is more important than what we're doing inside of the gym for fat loss. So this is simply some of the best examples, right? You just gave a few. When you go to the grocery store, park further in the parking lot. I know not everybody can do that. It's not safe for you to do that. If it's safe for you to do it, fucking do it. Okay. Park further away in the parking garage when you go to work. I've had clients do that. I had one client simply park one level up on the parking garage, and then she started taking the elevator down instead of she started taking the steps down instead of the elevator down. That was the only change she made at starting out. And then over time, she started then taking the stairs up. She started doing more and more walking, and she increased her NEAT. That was the only change she ever made in her entire life. The program with us was improving her NEAT. Went from 4,000 steps a day to 8,000 steps a day. She was already exercising and eating well. Just that alone, 20 pound weight loss in 6 months.
Yeah. People underestimate the fact that we're sedentary, and that is affecting our metabolic rate. Like the more you move, the more calories you burn. So,
right. And she was at 1,800 calories before we even started doing anything. So she was already eating a decent amount, which was great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Oh, no, it's okay. I was just talking about that. You guys don't understand. The more you sit, the less you fucking need for energy.
Yeah. If you're sitting, your body isn't expending energy. If we break it down that simple, and it is that simple, right? That's not easy, but yeah, it is.
You need to be intentional, right? If you're sitting there scrolling your phone, and get up and take a walk and scroll.
And yes, I agree. And let's talk about this. I made a video about this last weekend after my run. Guys, I totally understand needing to disconnect and be on your phone, and you can't always be present with your kids, but we need to try to be more present with our kids and be involved. Like if you're taking your kid to the park and then you're sitting there and scrolling your phone, I'm sorry, but come on.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody that's very active with my kid, and I get it. My son's always with me. I'm always driving him to sporting events. And you know what I do at all of the sporting events? I walk for 5 or 10 minutes. It's not the whole time, but it's while I'm waiting for it to start or in between an intermission or just get up to stretch my legs, right? And I want to see more parents doing these things. I'm not saying this to shame people, but we need to be moving. Like we're driving to work, we're sitting at work, we're driving to our kids' sporting events, and then we're sitting there while we're at the sporting events. When the fuck are we moving?
Yeah. And what actually grinds my buttons is when people start to blame the food for the obesity rise in America, when in all actuality, it has to do with the fact that we're more sedentary than ever.
I 100% agree with you.
I think the fact that we are not walking, we don't have busy jobs, we're all working from home, we're all on the fucking computers, we're not fucking moving, we're getting bigger. It's because we're eating more, but also we have a lower metabolism because of the fact that we're not fucking moving.
Lower metabolism. And then
that's why you're seeing more overweight people than ever before. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I let me just say there weren't a lot of obese people. People were fucking moving. Right. They were moving everywhere. And I mean,
our jobs were more physically intensive back then too.
We're moving. They were on their bikes, on their skates. They were never in the fucking house.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to really stop blaming certain things and start taking accountability, because we can take action towards these things, like fucking moving.
100%.
It's free.
It's free.
It's fucking free. You don't have to go into the gym and get a fucking specific workout in to increase your NEAT. You need to do the shit out of the gym.
Yes. That needs to be large focus. And I got a question about this yesterday on my Instagram story. A menopausal woman, right? She is losing and gaining the same 1 pound. She's frustrated. And she says she's walking 3 times a week for 20 minutes right now. Would walking more help more, right?
Probably.
Well, first of all, if she's only walking 3 days a week for 20 minutes, that's less than our recommendation. So absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
In that situation, walking and moving more is so instrumental to weight loss, to fat loss.
I would say 30 minutes a day.
I agree with that.
You could take 3 10-minute walks and there you're done.
Yeah, because for the longest time I've been saying 2 10-minute walks, and that's a really good starting point, but that's not we shouldn't just be doing that at some point, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. 30 minutes of intentional movement, we'll call it, is really what we should be striving for.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's outside movement too.
Right. And start where you are. If you're not moving at all, start with 10 minutes. But you need to be intentional.
Yes. Yeah. Because if you're moving 3,000 steps a day and you're trying to lose fat, you're going to be having to eat 1,000 calories a day to lose fat or less. Let's be real here. And that fucking sucks. That is why you keep saying I have to eat 1,000 calories to lose fat, because you're moving 3,000 steps per day. If you could double that to 6,000 steps per day, you are going to burn a lot more calories. Your metabolism is going to improve. Your circulation is going to improve. Your blood pressure is going to improve. Your cholesterol can improve. Your digestion can improve. Your mood's going to improve. You're going to be more likely to go out and fucking move your ass more and lift some heavy things and start taking care of yourself because of that one thing you did by just walking more. And a 10-minute walk is what? 1,000 steps perhaps. So if you're saying 30 minutes of walking, there's how you go from 3,000 steps per day to 6,000 steps per day right there.
Yeah. And then whatever you're doing in between.
Anything you're doing in between. And this,
it's like go grocery shopping. Okay. You don't need Instacart.
You don't need Instacart.
I'm sorry. Convenience, although it's amazing. And I use convenience all the time, mostly with my nutrition. Is that convenience is fucking killing us. And we've already talked about this, I believe, in a podcast.
Yep.
Because everything is getting delivered. Everyone is doing everything for us. And this is another thing that's changed since the 70s and 80s. And here comes the less movement, is because no one's fucking grocery shopping anymore. Everyone's ordering everything online. Everything's getting dropped off at your front fucking door. The UPS man is getting more movement than you are.
Can I give you an example of this right now?
Yeah, do it.
This is how crazy it is. Last night, Sarah and I, one of our favorite pastimes together is to play darts. In her garage, I got her a dart set for Christmas.
Nice.
So last night, we went to a party last weekend out at the lake, and they had a really nice dartboard there. Really nice darts as well. So we ordered some last night when we were playing darts at 10 o'clock at night. Amazon. Guess what? They were here this morning when we fucking woke up. Convenience. Instantly, we wanted new darts. We asked for them at 10 o'clock last night, and they were here at 6 o'clock in the morning when we were waking up. That is fucking crazy.
Talk about dopamine.
That's instant dopamine. right?
Dopamine Nation right there.
Dopamine Nation. And now we didn't go through the pain of walking to our car, going to the Walmart to get it, right?
Yeah.
Instant happiness. We are completely avoiding the discomfort that comes with going and getting these physical products at the store.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Dopamine Nation. You are 100% right. I love that.
So think about what you're doing that is taking less activity out of your day.
Yes. That is a great way of looking at it. Maybe dishwasher, right? Good example. Maybe start washing dishes by hand a little bit more frequently.
I love doing my own dishes. Of course, you know.
I fucking hate it. I hate it. I'm not going to take
I
that
love
advice.
it.
I'm a hypocrite.
It's therapeutic for me, but I also use my dishwasher. I do both. I just really try to be more active than not. I notice like, okay, what can I do right now? I can either scroll on my phone, or let's do some fucking laundry. You know what I'm saying? So you really have to be intentional. You can't just be a lazy fuck.
And here's an idea too.
I mean, it's easy to become a lazy fuck.
It is. It's so easy. But even you can do your laundry while watching TV, guys. Do it while standing up. Fold your laundry then too. Like if you need your TV fixed that badly, if you need your Netflix, combine the two. It's
your treadmill should not be your fucking laundry closet.
Everybody listening, give us a sigh of relief, right? Or a big sigh out loud if you're listening. Right? If that's you.
I know you. You got your Peloton. You haven't used it in a fucking year, but it
haven't used it since the pandemic.
It likes to hold your clothes in your basement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had that desperation moment where you bought a Peloton and you used it twice. And now what the fuck are you doing with it?
There was that emotional response, right?
Right? That was that dopamine hit that you're like, oh, I want a Peloton. Let me get it right now. It gets delivered to your door and you fucking use it twice.
And you're still paying for the monthly membership for it too. And for the Planet Fitness that you're not going to.
Yes. So, in a nutshell, move more than not.
Yes, absolutely.
Do something.
And I want to talk about this too, because I was going to make a post about this, but I was lazy. So let's just talk about it on the podcast here really quickly. Yesterday, I got 10,000 steps. Okay. But here's what it took me to get there. I ran almost 4 miles yesterday. So I went on a 45-minute deload run yesterday. Nice and easy. Mm-hmm. That, I don't know what that was, like 6,000 steps or so, maybe 5. And then later in the day, I did strength training for 45 minutes. And then at the end of the night, Sarah and I played darts for like a half hour or 45 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. And that barely got me over 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't doing that amount of exercise yesterday, all my movement came in those 3 big chunks. Mm-hmm. So, because I didn't have a high level of NEAT yesterday. So now take the exercise out of the equation, and I just moved maybe 1,500 steps yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And people aren't exercising like that every day. Most people aren't exercising like I am, like you are, right?
Right.
So I can get away with it. Like on my high active days over the weekend, I had 25,000 steps on Sunday. I did a long run and all 25,000 steps per day. That most people aren't doing that.
No.
Right.
No.
So it's really fucking important to find ways to get movement in throughout the day. And I've been showing a lot of examples of that too. One thing I've been doing is with the amount of driving I do for my son, right? I'm seeking out NEAT, more intentional movement. And you can argue if this is NEAT or not, but it's movement that I wanted him getting in the first place. So mindful movement is, there's a park, and I'm blessed that my son has a park because he goes to school in the middle of a cornfield out here in rural Ohio,
Yeah.
So there's a park 5 minutes away. So if there's ever a time when I get to his school and I have more than 10 minutes to kill, I'll drive 5 minutes to the park and walk for 5 or 10 minutes in that park, do a quick flight of stairs or something. And those little movement bursts add the fuck up. And that's why I show people those things, because you don't have to be able to make it to the gym for 30 minutes today. Go do this instead, because that something is better than nothing. And we're creating a consistency and building that healthy habit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So NEAT.
All right, NEAT. Then we got the strength training. Right?
So important, right?
So important.
So important.
Muscle.
Your got to build a muscle bank, right? You need a big bank of muscle. Sooner the better. If you haven't started, right now is a good time to start.
You want to maintain your bone density. You don't want muscle loss as you age.
When we're talking about metabolic health and metabolism, this is so important, right?
Muscle is important for that. You want a higher metabolism? Get some muscle. Gain some muscle.
So you can build muscle at any age, right?
Yes, any age. And what you can do is follow a program that focuses on progressive overload, which is getting stronger over time, whether that be more reps, more sets, you're doing better in your form. There's so many different forms of progressive overload, right?
There is.
Not doing some just random workouts. Stop making up your own fucking workouts. In a nutshell, unless you know what you're doing. Yes.
We have a Patreon, guys, for this.
I was going to say Patreon, or One of your Fit Fat Strong programs.
Yep. See, there I am. I'm a terrible marketer.
My beginner strength stuff that I've been
We have options for you guys. Patreon, $5 a month. I've got my Fit Fat Strong strength training program, $47 a month. I don't know what yours is, Beth. If you have a price point,
we don't have a set price point yet, but right now I do have free beginner workouts. Those will be on my website, and then we are having our Inner Peace project that is launching in January. So
good. So yeah, strength training is the most important thing you can do outside of getting enough calories and protein in a fat loss phase. Because when you are in a fat loss phase, your body is deprived of energy. It's in a negative energy balance, and it needs to get that energy from somewhere. And if you're not strength training, some of the energy it gets, it's going to break down your muscle tissue. We don't want that. We want to preserve muscle mass and hopefully even build muscle mass in a calorie deficit, especially if you're new to it. You can absolutely get strong as fucking build muscle in a calorie deficit.
Yeah, stop waiting.
Those newbie gains for like a good year, honestly.
You talked about this, people waiting to strength train until they lost the weight. Don't do that. Your risk of losing muscle mass because you're in a deficit. Do not do that.
Do not do that. You are putting yourself further behind the fat loss game in the long run.
Yeah.
You think
build as you go.
You think it's a good thing because you're losing weight quicker, or it's helping you get to your weight loss goal. Now, weight loss isn't what we fucking want. We want fat loss. There's a big difference because
you don't want muscle loss or bone loss. You want fat loss.
Yes.
And guess what? If you're not strength training and you're not focusing on protein, you are probably losing muscle mass and bone density at the same time.
Yes. And now imagine how many years you've been dieting, how many cycles you've gone through over the years. How many times have we tried to lose fat without strength training? 10 times, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more. Each time you do that, your metabolism's taking a hit, getting lower, getting lower. This isn't all doom and gloom. You can correct this. Strength training.
Yeah, exactly.
Eat sufficient protein, eat sufficient calories, and maybe spend some time stop dieting too.
Right.
Repair your body. My one client, Kristen, right? We've talked about her a lot. 2-year process for her. And now she's entering fat loss and eating over 2,000 calories a day. She's very active, right? But fuck yeah.
All right, strength training.
Strength train, so important. We got lots of resources out there for you.
Yeah.
And strength training too, like it doesn't need to be 4 or 5 days a week. Most people, like 2 or 3 days a week is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
If you can get in the gym 3 days a week for 3 strength training sessions, that is going to be fucking phenomenal. 2 days a week is great. And 1 day a week is even better than doing none.
Yeah. You don't need, like you said, I was going to say, anywhere from 2 to 4 days a week, you have to do something that fits in your schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
Or make it fit in your schedule in a way that's not going to overwhelm you. If 5 days a week is going to you're going to lose your mind. You're probably going to meet half the time. Stop doing that. You're only going to get pissed off at yourself. You're going to say, I don't know, nothing's working. This is unsustainable. Yeah, because you're going to the gym 5 days a week and you have a 40-hour-a-week work job and 5 kids. Like, what are you doing?
Right. And can we also talk about strength training? Because a lot of people will avoid strength training due to time constraints, right? They'll be like, I only have 45 minutes, so I'm going to do a circuit class instead because they think they're getting more bang for their buck, right? And that's I would say don't do that either, right? I think if we're talking about strength training, you can do a lot in 45 minutes. That's what most of my workouts are, 45 minutes. I think yours are probably right in 45 to 60 minutes or so.
Like an hour. They're an hour now, yeah.
I try not to be in the gym. I don't want to be strength training for an hour anymore. So that's just me personally, right?
Yeah.
Because you can get a lot done, 5-6 movements in 45 minutes and you're going to be crushing it, right?
Yeah.
Stop overcomplicating it and trying to do supersets of everything and try to get 10 or 12 movements in just to feel the burn and feel exhausted after a workout too, I think is where people go wrong with exercise.
Yeah. That's why you should follow a program and don't do some random shit that you think that you know what you're doing.
Follow one of our programs.
Let's
be real here.
Take the guesswork away from yourself.
Yeah.
I get so many questions. Well, what should I do with this? And what? Okay, you know what? Follow a program.
Right.
You want me to make up a program for you on the fucking stories? Like I can't. It takes so much to do that. I don't know what your injuries are, your limitations. If you need modifications.
Yeah, that's not helping anybody. That's clickbait is when people put out the workout for you on a story. Like I'll put out examples of stuff like, hey, here's how something like this could look, right?
Right.
But
but follow something like the one that I just put up is just literally like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do this for the next month.
Right. Yes, exactly. For the next month. Give it time.
I'm not giving you fucking 80 million different things.
Yeah.
It's like,
absolutely.
it's Gaining muscle and all that shit is like, it's not fancy. It's basically boring. You're doing a lot of the same shit.
Boring, basic shit.
All this is BBS, boring, basic shit.
BBS, love it. Yep. Strength training, 10,000 steps. We kind of talked about that then. What do you think about 10,000 steps as like a goal? I think you have yours is like 12,000 steps.
I do. Right? That's just me. It's not necessary.
Because that's something we hear a lot is like, oh, I want to lose fat.
It's an arbitrary number, to be honest.
Steps. It is, right?
I think the data is 7,500 to 8,000 steps a day for ultimate, like, overall health and wellness.
It's really like 6,000 steps per day is when they start seeing the health benefits. And then it's like every 1,000 steps per day after that, I think. But it's that range, I believe. Yeah. When we talk about step goals, we're not going to give you a generic step goal. We'll give step goals to our clients and stuff, but more is the answer. If you're doing 3,000 steps per day right now, do 4,000 steps per day.
Yeah.
Don't try to go from 3 to 10, right? You're overdoing it.
Right. Yeah. And you're going to overwhelm yourself, et cetera, et cetera. Etc.
Absolutely.
All right. So maybe we need to do a part 2 because we are over 60 minutes in, right?
Yeah. We're coming up on 60 minutes now, I believe. So
and I got a course.
Yeah, you do. You got your course coming up for sure.
But so we should. So we got how to figure out your deficit, protein, mindful eating, fiber,
strength training,
and strength training.
We covered a lot.
That's a lot. And I think we can cover the mindset behavior part.
Mindset, behaviors, and after fat loss.
Sleep and things like that.
Sleep, all those things that impact fat loss rather than the calories and the food, right?
Right. Like your environment. I mean, there's so many different things.
We'll do that, but it's going to be in a couple of weeks because next week you and I are recording with Sarah when we're in there.
And then the week after that, we're recording with Julie from Dojoy. So it's going to be in a few weeks. So stay tuned. This is a great place for you to start, by the way.
It is. So now you're going to have a couple of weeks of implementing this shit. So then you can start learning a little deeper here in a couple more weeks when we do the part 2 of this.
Yes.
This is dope. I'm excited.
Amazing.
Really quick, I want to give a shout out to Cured Nutrition as well. They just sent us, I just got my new goodie box from them for the month.
Nice. I should be getting, I'm probably soon. I haven't checked.
So I'm fully loaded with the Cure, with the gummies and my morning capsules that I've been taking with them.
Yes.
So really been enjoying them. You can check them out, curednutrition.com/CTC. Gets you, of course, 20% off of Cured Nutrition Serenity Gummies, which is one of the things that we take almost daily just to kind of help us manage all the shit that we have to deal with every day.
One of my faves.
Significant others, business owners. Fuck yeah, this has been a great episode. So everybody, let us know what you thought about this and let us know in our DMs too, what are some of the things you're going to start implementing from this podcast today? Because we're going to hold you accountable to it. We're going to check back in a few weeks when we do part 2 of this, and we're going to fucking crush it.
Yeah. Awesome. Have a great day, Matt. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this episode, so why not share with a friend who needs to hear it? Send us a DM on Instagram or email us at cutthecrappod@gmail.com and join our Patreon at patreon.com/cutthecrappodcast. As always, we appreciate you and thanks for being here.